I would wake up in a pool of my own sweat. I'm very in tune with my body, and I didn't like the way I was feeling.
So is that why you volunteered to test Belle Vitale?
Absolutely. I trust Autumn.
What were your first impressions? Be honest.
On day 4, I lost 3 pounds. That was my struggle. I lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it. But this time I lost it, and it stayed like that.
Welcome to the BODi Experience. I'm Carl Deichler, CEO of the Beachbody Company, now known as BODi, BODi. And I want to ask you a question. What do these things have in common? Okay. Raging night sweats, mood swings, irritability, unhappiness, low libido, trouble sleeping, and trouble losing weight. Okay. They've got 2 things in common that I know of. 1, it could be your hormones. And 2, 46-year-old BODi customer and partner, Maggie Ullrich. She was suffering from all these symptoms, but something pretty miraculous happened after 12 weeks of Belle Vitale. So let's hear what happened today on the BODi Experience and how hard it was to get relief or how easy it was. Welcome to the BODi Experience, Maggie.
Thank you so much, Carl, for having me. It's an opportunity to be on this episode and share this message and share my experiences.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And, we try to get into what it's like to try to organize lifestyle change and stay motivated. I know it's tough. Every day is a lifestyle choice. And I read your story. It's fantastic. But I want to go back for a second. First off, how long have you been a BODi customer?
8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
Wow. And okay, so what have you done? What was your experience of BODi? Because you would think after 8 years you'd have it all figured out and you'd be perfect and everything would be awesome.
You would think, right? So 8 years ago, I was introduced to BODi because I was really suffering from extreme postpartum anxiety, depression. I couldn't get out of bed without taking Xanax. And that was just to take care of my kids. I needed to go on antidepressants in order to function. And I also needed to lose weight because the antidepressants caused weight gain. And I just wanted to have that joy back into my life, especially as a stay-at-home mom who was really struggling just to get through the day. I was a robot going through the motions of life, and that is not the way to live. So I gained about 15 pounds from antidepressants, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try to lose the weight. And I did the gym thing, and it wasn't working, and I was starting to get really discouraged. And then I was introduced to what was called Beachbody. Back then, now it's BODi. And I first did Autumn Calabrese's program, the 21-Day Fix, which blew my mind away because not only was I working out every day and eating healthy every day, but I was getting up every morning with purpose, with joy back into my life because I had something to do that's going to help me lift the fog and give me back my life. I lost the weight from the antidepressants by following the BODi programs. And I thought, I'm not the only one suffering. There has got to be other moms out there that are just like me who need help.
Yeah. So that's about 8 years ago, you said.
Yes.
Had you tried anything before? Go to the gym, like do the obvious stuff, or what was your experience before you found BODi?
Yes, I was your typical gym rat. I I drag my kids to the childcare and I would work out for 2 hours. I would wear one of those heart rate monitors and I wouldn't leave the gym until I burned 1,000 calories. I thought, you know what? Calories in, calories out. That's what they say. So I have to do this. That would be great. But then I'd come home and I'd be starving. I would literally I would be elbow deep in a bag of chips while my kids were napping because that was my reward. I burned 1,000 calories. I can now have all of these things to eat. And I really did think I was eating healthy. I would have a big salad and I add all the things to it, and it really wasn't all that healthy. I was clueless about nutrition. That was the missing piece in my story. So I didn't really know what to eat, how much to eat, what foods are going to serve me. And that is why the Portion Fix taught me what to do. And that's what I love about the program. It's all laid out for you.
Yeah. Well, this is the part where it sort of gets interesting because, and I think can probably be frustrating for people because, for 8 years or so, or 5 years, you're going along. You think you found the solution. You're not having to be crazy, hours in the gym. You get your food under control, but then life has other plans, and you start having these symptoms, and other things start to happen. Um, so, like, when did you start to have these things that this list that I started with: night sweats,
Mhm.
irritability, tr- trouble, a stubborn weight? Like, what was happening? And you must have been scratching your head because you thought you had everything under control, right?
Mhm. Oh, yes. I'm 46 years old. So I have been white knuckling perimenopause, I would say, for the past 4 years. And what I have been experiencing has been all new to me. And to be honest with you, I was a little pissed. I was pissed at myself. I was pissed at my body because it really stopped working for me. And that's where the discouragement came. So, yes, I was scratching my head. I was Googling, I was doing all the research, and nothing was working. I experienced weight gain, especially in my hip area, my stomach area, my butt. It just kept coming on. I had severe night sweats leading up to my period. It was so bad that I would wake up in a pool of my own sweat. It was so gross. I was extremely tired. I would wake up, roll out of bed, and I would think to myself, when am I going to take my nap later?
Hmm.
And this would be after a really good night's rest.
Did you talk to your doctor about it? Did you just cope with it? Like, what were you thinking? What was your process?
Well, yes, I did talk to my gynecologist about it at my annual, and I felt really at that point I felt really alone and I wanted some answers. I'm very in tune with my body, and I didn't like the way I was feeling. I didn't like what I was experiencing. And she pretty much looked at me and said, "No, you're 46 and this is normal. And your blood work, you're normal. This is part of aging, but you should lift weights more. Lift heavy weights because that'll be good for you." Which I'm like, I've been doing that for the past 8 years with BODi programs. So, yeah,
So is that why you volunteered to test Belle Vitale?
absolutely. Like I said, I was feeling very lost, discouraged. I felt very alone. Um, I didn't know what to do. I was really close to getting hormone replacement therapy. I didn't know much about it. I was doing my research, but I thought maybe it would help me. So when I saw this opportunity to be in this test group for Belle Vitale, I knew that this was it. This was an opportunity for me to change, and I was ready for it. I went all in.
I think that's really interesting, and obviously hormone replacement therapy can be fantastic. I don't think people should fear that, or it obviously is a big step, and you all of a sudden start to realize, certain things that you're going to deal with for maybe the rest of your life, or for the foreseeable future. But um, I'm curious. I'm curious why you would say that this was it,
Mhm.
because um, you know look, Autumn developed this program out of her own experience. Like, she's not a doctor, but she consulted all these doctors. She got certified, and brought in these hormone health experts, really started to pay attention to how these changes that she was making were affecting her hormone levels. Um, what about that? Like, was it her process that gave you confidence that her program was going to help you?
Absolutely. I trust Autumn. Autumn got me out of bed all those years ago with her programs. So, hands down, I'm going to trust her research, trust her trainings, and trust this program because she helped me 8 years ago. And I have that faith and belief that she was going to help me again. And I just have so much respect for her as a body superstar trainer. And yes, I leaned into this and I knew that she was going to help me and help so many other women with this program.
So, what were your first impressions? You get the program, and it's obviously not all finished the way it's going to be when we launch it in December. So, what were your first impressions? Be honest.
So, week 1, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you that I was skeptical because I have been here before. I would eat healthy, I would exercise, I would do all the things that you're supposed to do to lose weight, to feel good, and to just have that joy and excitement in your life. And I was trying to do that for the past 4 years and nothing was working for me. So that first week, of course, I was like, oh, okay, I've been here before. But on day 3, or actually, no, I'm sorry, on day 4, I lost 3 pounds and I was on my period. I actually got my period the day before the program started. So that's when I was like, okay, just we're going to lean in, trust the process. But when I saw the weight finally budge, and the best part about it is it didn't go back up again because that was my struggle. I lose it, gain it, lose it, gain it. But this time I lost it and it stayed like that.
When you talk about first impressions, um, one of the questions that we had as we were doing it was, is this going to be too much? Um, are we asking people to maintain 12 weeks of discipline this way, that they're going to question whether it's worth it because they don't know how good it can feel to feel good? Uh, and so you sort of have to trust it. Meanwhile, you're making certain changes in your lifestyle, which might be the coping mechanisms you've got to deal with the discomfort. So it's this sort of, like you said, trust that you're going to get there. Um, what was, again, when you talk about first impressions, or that first week, what were the improvements? Did they validate the process that you had to go through, and help you make it, I don't know, help you stay motivated to be this disciplined for a full 12 weeks?
In my opinion, 3 months of hard work is worth that longevity that you are going to get. And 3 months of hard work is nothing compared to what I would have to do by seeing a specialist, a hormone specialist, a functional medicine doctor. So I really thought this was, yeah, it was challenging, but I was so desperate to change. I didn't care what I had to do to make this change. I knew that I needed to do this. So after the first week, I was all in. I am your you know, I have to have my wine on the weekends type mom. And that was a big change for me. And that was a big revelation. Like you said, Carl, a lot of the coping mechanisms that we would rely on to kind of numb how we were feeling, that was wine for me. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that I don't really need that anymore to cope. Instead, I would take a walk and I would go to sleep early. My sleep has been rock solid. I sleep better than my teenagers. And I would just go to sleep instead of staying up and drinking wine and scrolling my phone. I was in bed.
That's amazing. Like that people get into a pattern and a routine and they feel like, okay, this is, and it's not even, they wouldn't even look at it as coping mechanism. It's just like, well, this is my pattern for a life that I enjoy and I can rely on. To let go of that wine on the weekend, as you said, is a really big deal. What did you put in its place? What did you backfill to not feel like it was just now an empty weekend? How did you deal with that?
Ooh, my new favorite mocktail is Bevy with LaCroix. So I would have that instead of my wine. But the silver lining of all that, Carl, was I didn't wake up feeling like a loser. I didn't wake up feeling tired, groggy, hungover. I wasn't just, how can I describe this? But I felt more present as a mom on the weekends because I wasn't drinking alcohol. And for me, during those 12 weeks, so many revelations occurred. I looked at life in a different lens. I had more gratitude. And you always hear people talk about that. Like, oh, I have such gratitude for this and for that. And I would think, I have that too, right? I think I have that. But during these 3 months, I really understood it. I was living in it. I was no longer, I was appreciating my life. I was appreciating my family. I wasn't living for the weekends, living for the wine fix. I was enjoying my family. I wasn't dragging my kids to their school sports. I wasn't taking it out on them. I was happy again. I was a happy mom. My kids no longer walk on eggshells around me. So, yes, to answer your question, I that's what I replaced it with was sparkling water, LaCroix, Bevy, a little bit of Energize.
Hmm. Was there ever time in the 12 weeks that, because 12 weeks can feel long, um, was there ever a time that you thought maybe you'd had enough or this was good enough? I don't know what your weight loss was like, but was there ever a time that you were like, okay, I've got enough, or hey, maybe this isn't working anymore? Like, was there any sort of doubt during the 12 weeks?
Yes. Yes. We went on vacation. We went to Destin, Florida for our family vacation, and we went with another family. They're like family to us. And they are they like to party and they like food, and I was really nervous. I was really nervous about this because I feared that I would sabotage all of my hard work because of the environment I would be in, being on vacation, living that YOLO attitude,
Mhm.
having the freedom to eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want. And I didn't want to self sabotage. And I made sure that I was planned. I was prepared. I brought my containers. I brought my control track, my workout equipment. I did all the breath work on the beach. I'd wake up early and walk on the beach and listen to Growth Day. And I
Mhm.
thought to myself, wow, I have never been on vacation, experienced a vacation like this before. I experienced many first during Belle Vitale, many firsts that are going to now be part of my life, my new normal.
So those firsts, did the people around you ask you what was going on? Like, did they observe these firsts?
Yes. Yes. So they supported me. I mean, they are such good friends. And that is so important when you're doing a program like this. Surround yourself with people that are going to support you, that are going to lift you up, and that are going to keep you going. So I did express to them what I was doing. They were so excited for me. They were like, what a great opportunity. This is going to be amazing for you, because they knew what I've been struggling with for the past few
But
years.
but you know, and that's awesome,
Yeah.
because I think that's going to be a big thing for people, because the other side, I would suspect or expect it would go the other way, that the people around you are like, well, you still got to have a vacation. And that's when you get into peer pressure and come on, do the shots and whatever
Mhm.
this sugary drink is. And you're not, you're bringing us down, like people who have a normal experience of you and what a vacation with you might be like, or, you're being the fun one and the one with the edge. All of a sudden, now you're tempered and getting up early and dealing with this different lifestyle, and all of a sudden other people aren't getting the fix from you that they would normally have gotten.
Mhm.
But you didn't experience that?
It's interesting because I am the fun one. And I was fun on this vacation, just not fun that they were used to. And I don't think that they felt like, oh, who is this Maggie? This is a new Maggie. This is a different Maggie. I don't like this Maggie. Not at all. They respected this. They were excited for me. Even at the airport when we were leaving Florida, my best friend, who I've known since, the fourth grade, I'm going to get emotional. She grabbed my hand and she said, I am so proud of you. You were so disciplined throughout this vacation. You're going to be such an inspiration to so many women that are struggling, just like how you were. And she saw a change in me and she loved that change. And she said, I'm going to do this program and I'm going to have you guide me along, because I know that you are going to help me feel better too.
What did you do after the 12 weeks? So you lost about what, 11-ish pounds, right?
Yes.
You got it locked in. Then what? Back to life as usual. Give me the wine. What's going on? What happened after 12 weeks?
After 12 weeks, I kept going. Why would I stop something that makes me feel so good? Why would I stop something that I worked so hard to achieve? I mean, 3 months, like you said, Carl, it is a long time. Why would I just give up that hard work? No, I am not going back. There's no way I am going backwards. I'm not going to go back to old Maggie. And I find myself looking at old videos and pictures of myself, and I look at her and I'm like, wow, I know what you are going through, but you're going to get the help.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you got these results with Belle Vitale and that you shared this with us. We're starting to obviously pick up momentum toward the launch. And it's going to be people like you who help people trust nature again and trust the fact that there's all these things that modern life and the food supply and what we think is normal,
Mhm.
all the wine, a couple glasses of wine a week or on the weekend or whatever, that normal is not something that physiologically is something that our bodies are designed to process, all this stress and so on. So really, Maggie, it's going to be people like you who help make the difference in the world and make a difference in lives, and I'm super grateful for that. And for you sharing this story today. And look, anybody who wants to know more about Belle Vitale and start learning more about this program, all you got to do, go to bellevitale.com. And the program launches in December of 2024. I don't know when you're watching this, but I suspect it's going to be the hot product in health and fitness in 2025. You can also text me. I've got a group that gets updates on BODi and what we're doing, but specifically Belle Vitale, if you text me the word hormones to 818-650-4369, then I'll keep you posted when the product goes up. We actually do think that there will be quite a bit of demand and we'll come in and out of selling out. But when you do it, or if you have a great BODi experience you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it. You can submit your story to @BODiStories on Instagram, and the team will take a look, and maybe you could be on the next podcast. But it's people like Maggie that make this happen. So Maggie, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the BODi family. And everybody else, Belle Vitale's coming. It's going to be an amazing program, and it's going to do special things. Okay, that's it for today. I'll see you next time on the BODi Experience.